Hello everyone. We haven't seen each other for very long. I hope that you had a very good summer. And today I start a series of different lives on Instagram. I invited very interesting experts to talk about different topics in terms of mindset and growth mindset. So I'm sorry, I'm just checking the connection. I see that my expert Ioana today is online. Ioana, you just can join, I think, right? This is the premiere for today. So let's see how it works. Yay! Hello!
Hi, thank you
How are
very
you?
much for having me.
How are you? So congratulations for your premiere.
Yes, it's my first one, it's my first live, or at least together with someone.
Nice. So, today we are talking how to create emotional awareness, and you introduced me to this term. I really like to know more about it. Why is it so important, or we are talking about today, why is it so important to develop emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, how to do this? What kind of exercises can help to create, to develop, to train your mind, train your emotional awareness? But first of all, Ioana, we also actually have never met. I would like to know a little bit more about you. My first question is actually, how did you end up to be an emotional intelligence coach? Why why exactly this time?
Yeah, it didn't start like this actually. It didn't start with emotions. First of all, actually, it started with I actually catalog myself as an overachiever. I actually cataloged, so we should use the past tense, myself as an overachiever. So at the point, I really wanted to achieve more, but at the same time, I wasn't happy in the industry that where I was. So that would be IT. And then I have passed through a lot of, I've been through trauma, so to put it bluntly. I have lost a lot of people in my life, actually two very important people of my life in a very short amount of time. And this kind of led me to a path where I wanted to understand what is actually happening within me, within my brain. Of course, I was doing psychotherapy because I couldn't go through those events or the response of those events without psychotherapy. And first of all, I decided to dive deeper into NLP. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. And it was a very beautiful journey. That was coaching. So there is a difference between coaching and therapy. Yes. So coaching helps you to achieve a goal, helps you to reach somewhere in the future, a place in the future that you would like to reach. And it doesn't work with people that are out of their tolerance windows. So, which I was. I was completely out of my tolerance window. And I stayed like this for a long time, even through my coaching, so to say, career and or NLP coaching career. And then I said, okay, there is something more to that. And then is when I tried to figure out my emotions. Said, what is emotionally happening within me that doesn't allow me to do this, that, and that. And there was also a deeper wish that I had to understand why those people that left. So I'll just tell you shortly. It's about my mother and my best friend that both passed away of cancer, 1 year distance. And I wanted to understand if there is a connection between our emotional inner life and the diseases that we develop. Because I have seen similarities between the behavior of my mother and the behavior of my best friend. And this is how I started my quest. Emotionally, the quest was actually to find out why, and because I didn't feel it's fair. I didn't feel it's fair that two people so young to actually live this life so quickly. So this is how I ended up dealing with emotions. This is how I ended up trying to figure out how emotions actually impact our life.
So what is this conclusion? Why do you think, or what do you think, why is it so important to be aware of your own emotions, to regulate your own emotions, to see why do I react on particular things with such an emotion? And as we know, bad emotions are always bigger than good emotions. So what?
Yeah, that's a
Why?
very good question. Thank you. It's actually a very long answer here. So let's start with why it's important to develop emotional awareness, and then I'll go into the other points that you have made. It's very important to develop emotional awareness. It's very important to understand why we react how we react. And this word react is very important, and I'll tell you later why. Because each emotions or each, let's say, outburst or each emotion that we don't put out there, that we suppress, has resonance within our body, has impact on our immune system. And this is how we develop different diseases. Suppression, repression actually, because there is a difference between suppression and repression, actually leads to disease. It's very easy. This is very important. This is why it is very important to develop emotional awareness. And I won't get into the how, because it's very complicated with a lot of like chemicals releasing into the body and so on. I could explain the whole process and how it's stored and how the chemicals are stored. But in fact, let's put it like this. What's happening very early in our lives, in our childhood, between 0 and 7 years old, is that we learn certain patterns about how we can express or repress our emotions. And I personally, in my coaching and therapy, I didn't find a name yet. Coaching therapy, I'll still try to decide upon that. I have seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, I had a very, very, very beautiful childhood," and then when we went deeper, in fact, we found out that there were a lot of coping mechanisms developed that answered basically their questions of the present. Yeah. And this is how also limiting beliefs develop based on a pattern based on coping mechanisms. So basically our personalities are a bunch of coping mechanisms put together, so to say. Yeah, it's a difference between an innate characteristic and personality. Personality is like a bunch of coping mechanisms put together that probably do not serve us nowadays, today, in the present moment. So I think I've answered part of your question.
Yeah, I wanted to tell shortly about my experience. Why I think it's so important to develop emotional awareness, because as you said, when we are little kids, we are programming, or our parents' experiences, system, everything around us programming us. And the thing is that we actually remember everything. What I teach in my presentation or public speaking trainings, that we remember everything on an emotional level, especially as a child. Everything, the emotions for kids are very big, and it's so easy to create this, the connection between neurons through very big emotions. Yeah, so and then we learn particular, beliefs, particular behaviors, and they're so deep inside. So as an adult, we often ask ourselves, so why actually it doesn't work out? What do I do wrong? And people don't notice that all these beliefs are so deep inside of us on a subconscious level already through these emotions, because we don't even understand what triggers us. Yeah, what triggers us, so we react on something with a particular emotion, which already on the subconscious mind makes us remember from about a particular emotion. And the second thing is that I work also a lot with kids. I have two projects, public speaking and creative tech. That is creative project for kids, but also for adults, how to create and develop creativity. And what is creativity? Creativity and emotions, they're very, very connected. And what I see is that most adults are so, try to protect themselves, are so try to be secure, try to don't emotionally don't go out from the comfort zone. So they actually don't know how to express emotions. They don't, or we adults, most of us, we don't know what kind of emotions we actually have, or how many emotions go through the day with us, and we are not aware of them at all. How to regulate this emotion. And of course, I'm totally agree with you in terms of everything is within us, and everything, especially diseases, I think that people create with themselves. They just make decisions that I will stick with that emotion to create a particular illness. This is my theory, how people get diseases. So everything is, and the same thing is that we can heal ourselves through understanding who we are, through understanding and regulating thoughts and emotions. But thoughts are not also important, but emotion is even more important, because this is what we remember subconsciously. We remember the emotion. And also when I'm talking about or explaining what is charisma, and ask my participants, what is charisma for you? Actually, people say, I remember the emotion which the person gives me.
Yeah.
And this is what I call charisma. And everyone has its own emotion. They just don't understand it. So it's so important to teach adults, or better to teach kids, to understand understand own emotions, or give the name of a particular emotion. Yeah. And this, I think, in my field, I do it with art therapy. I really
With art therapy, you said, sorry.
Yes, art
Okay.
therapy. It's,
Actually, you see that that's my painting. So I'm also an abstract artist, by the way. And yeah, I agree that art is a very nice way of outletting our emotions. I want to say something about what you said, because I think you made some very important points, and I want to add upon them. Yes, it's true that the diseases in our body are created by emotions. They are created by unconscious emotional patterns. We don't know how they are there. We have no idea what happened in order for us to do this. It's something is happening, and all of a sudden we're triggered. And what we know, so for example, I don't know, I am in a situation where I get very angry, but what do? I let my anger out. If in my childhood I have learned that if I put my anger out, I won't be loved, then I won't put that anger out. I will suppress that, I will repress that, and then what will happen? The memory of that moment, of that first moment, where I have learned that if I am angry, I'm not lovable, will start going into my body, and of course into my nervous system, and it will release certain chemicals that harm my body, and this is how the emotions are created. You also pointed out that what did I want to say? Sorry, I'm trying to make up my mind, because there were so many points that I really wanted to make. Yeah, so yes, for example, you said that people don't know why this is happening. You said that we don't even know our emotions. And there is a simple question through which you could find out if your emotions were or were not, you repressed or not your emotions in childhood. And that is, whenever you felt anger, whenever you felt fear, was there someone there that you could speak about that, even though the person that triggered that within you, even if the person that you could speak about is the person that actually triggered that within you? And with these small questions, you realize how your childhood was, you realize what kind of patterns you developed, and you realize why whenever you feel anger, you either put it out or not, or why when someone does you wrong, you have a very big reaction.
So let's start from here. How to develop emotional awareness? How to be conscious about your emotions? So step number one, you said now, is to ask yourself what was the trigger, correct?
Yeah, that's a start. I think that when you realize that you actually have an issue, or let's not say an issue, you have a struggle in this area, I think it's very important to first of all speak to someone, to search, to ask for help from a professional. From my perspective, this is, I mean, of course, it's not only the therapist, it's not only the coach that you can speak with. You need a very big support system in these moments, but it's important to have someone a professional that guides you through this.
And what if some people cannot, for example, cannot afford it or don't know where to go? By the way, I have to say that I created a blog for people who will listen the recording or watch the recording. You can go to my blog. You will find lots of interesting information about growth mindset and emotional intelligence. The first step. If you don't know where to look for information, but my question to you, what to do?
Yeah, so look for information, inform yourself. You said this, and it's very important. I think that first of all is to teach ourselves to just stay with the sensations in our body, because any emotion that we speak about has another has an attached sensation within our body. So the fastest road to understanding an emotion, to realizing that there is an emotion there that bothers us, is to feel the sensation in our body. Yeah. So whenever we speak about emotions, that we say, oh my God, I was so angry, my face turned red, or my face was in fire, depending on the culture that you are coming from. No. So we have this already ingrained in our languages, and we kind of do not pay attention to them. But for example, when our nervous system is not regulated, maybe we will feel like a very big rock in our stomach. And then, of course, it comes with a very bad digestion and so on. So first of all, my advice is to stay with your sensations in the body. Whenever you feel something, don't run away. Just stay there with the sensation and allow it to be. It's that simple. Just allow it to be. It's a first exercise. And do this daily. Do this as a practice. And if then the emotions or that sensation it's very triggering, or it's very hard to stay with, go back to your breath. Go back to your conscious breath. Take a deep breath in, keep it there a bit, let it out on your mouth, keep it there a bit, and do this again a couple of times, and then go back to the sensation. So this is the first thing that I think it's important for us in order to develop emotional awareness, if you want, emotional competence. Yeah, because
So
and
if I understand correct, I'm sorry. First of all, we have to allow ourselves to feel different emotions.
to feel different sensations in our body.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a difference.
Be aware where is the sensation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Be aware where is the sensation. Of course, then you can go further with this. But first of all, just be aware where is the sensation in your body. And the second thing that you could do, just think about an event where you felt that sensation before.
The trigger. You have to figure out what is the trigger.
No, I don't think you necessarily have to figure out what is the trigger. Just think about events when you felt that sensation before. In the first step, of course, later we speak about the trigger, but we're speaking about first steps. We're speaking about steps that you can do on your own, where you don't need the person that guides you. Because sometimes, if we are speaking about trauma and very deep traumas, whenever you go on your own into this, there is a slight possibility that you re-traumatize yourself, and we don't want this. And here is where I'm paying very much attention with what I say that, okay, you can do on your own, and what I say that, okay, from here on, you need a guide.
Mm-hmm.
And a guide, okay, if you can't afford it, a guide can be a good friend that you can co-regulate with. A guide can be a friend that you can speak with, but don't do it on your own. If you feel like you can't hold it, you can't cope with it, search for someone that you trust and speak with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is step number 1. Step number 2?
Step number 2 on your own. That's challenging.
Yes.
Step number 2, I would say, yeah. Step number
awareness. Where to start?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you.
I mean, we are talking about how to create emotional awareness. Where to start?
As I said, start with feeling the sensations in your body.
Yeah,
that's the start. That will always be the start. Start
yeah.
by feeling the sensations in your body and be aware of what you feel in your body. And then, if you want, do a journaling practice. Write about them. Write about that sensation in your body. Write about when you felt the sensation before. Describe the event that comes to your mind where you felt that sensation before. And then when you felt that sensation, how did you feel in that event? Who was involved in that event? Start journaling this. This is another very, very good and beneficial practice, journaling. And then the third step is try to find resources, try to find ways in which you can regulate yourself. This is conscious breathing, this is yoga. You don't need to necessarily join a class or pay money for yoga. There are a lot of resources on YouTube where you can actually do very good, that have very good classes or videos or however you want to call them. And yoga is a actual therapy that was proven of being very effective with regulating. Sometimes in therapy, people spend a lot of time only on learning how to feel the sensation in their body, how to be comfortable with the sensations in their body, and how to regulate the sensations in your body, in their body. And another way, if you can afford it, would be massages. This is also very good for self-regulation. But those that you can do at home for sure is conscious breathing and yoga.
And stretching, because I noticed with my body that if I have lots to do, I'm getting a little bit unstretchable. I'm getting like, I have to make really every second is scheduled, and then I feel that my body is also getting tensed, and I cannot stretch anymore. So when I do yoga and stretching, for example, extra, try to stretch my body, then I also can release some.
Yeah, it's normal, because in yoga also you focus on your breath and through the out breath, we actually activate our parasympathetic, the parasympathetic part of our nervous system that actually is deals with the relaxation and so on.
Mm-hmm. But still, what would you recommend? 3 recommendations, 3 tips for people who will watch us later, how to create this awareness for your emotions and develop this awareness.
It's the same. I'll repeat the same thing as I said before. Just stay with the sensations in your body. Don't run away. Whenever you feel like some discomfort in your body, don't grab a book, don't grab your phone, don't look on your phone. Just stay with the sensation. This is the first important step. Maybe it sounds that is too simple. Maybe I don't know, it doesn't sound real, but it's that simple. Allow yourself to stay with the sensation in your body and see what it's trying to tell you. And then journal it. Then journal. Take out the paper and journal. If you don't have time to do this, try conscious breathing. If you really are uncomfortable with that sensation and I don't know, you're in a meeting or something, just breathe in, breathe out, and go back to that sensation later. But first, stay with that sensation. Second, conscious breathing. And third, yoga. These are the first 3 steps that you can do in order to reach at the point emotional awareness and be able to express your emotions. Because later, whenever you have been able to do this, then you will be able to figure out if this is an emotion of the present or if this is an emotion of the past. By doing these 3 steps, yeah, you realize, okay, is it an emotion of the present? Is it an emotion of the past? I'll understand my triggers, and I will be able, because we spoke about reaction, and I want to get back a bit to it. We will be able not to react, but we will have the ability to respond. Sorry. And this is what actually responsibility means: the ability to respond to something. Because whenever we are in the past, whenever we are in that emotion, whenever our nervous system is in that flight, fight, freeze mode, we don't have the ability to respond. We just react to that, to whatever is happening. So by doing those 3 steps that I just said, you'll be able to later do this. But it's about practice.
Yeah. So as a conclusion, again, why is it so important? Why is it important in your eyes to be aware of the emotions? Again, why are we always nowadays or last years are always talking about emotional intelligence at work, for your career, in communication? Why is it so important for us people to have the emotional intelligence?
First of all, to prevent disease in our body. And this is my own experience with, or my very down deep reason for which I started to want to learn about emotional awareness, because there is a connection between emotion and disease. And whenever we're not aware of our emotions, as I said earlier, we put a lot of stress on our nervous system, on our body. And when we are doing this, we are not able to live in the present. And what does it mean to live in the present? To have vitality, to actually live life, vitality, this is what it means, no? So emotional awareness will allow us to acquire vitality, to live life fuller.
And happier.
And happier. Depends what happiness means for everybody.
Yeah. Ioana, thank you so much for your time. It was very interesting to hear your story and your experience. And of course, for those one who is interested, please go to the account of Ioana, and I think you will find a lot of very interesting information if you want to develop your emotional awareness and emotional intelligence, and if you want, first of all, learn more about yourself in terms of emotions and regulate life to be more happy, more relaxed, and enjoy.
To be more present in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ekaterina, for having me. It was a real pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity to speak about this. It's very important to me to put this out there and to teach people, educate people, however you want to say. It's about emotions, about emotional awareness. Of course, they can head to my account, I Am Emotions, and there they will find a lot of tips, as you say, for how they can actually develop this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You
Bye
too. Bye. Thank you.